to be in your program.
Good evening and welcome to the very, very first program of The Spin, and we have got a great show. Hello and welcome once again. Today I am talking about a subject that I thought I knew lots about, and turns out I knew nothing pretty much, and that is accessible gaming. Accessible gaming is gaining popularity all across the globe, and it's doing so very quickly indeed. And with that is coming all sorts of technology that I never even dreamed of to make it possible. And when I started to look at that, I realized I was going to have to take a much deeper look into accessible gaming than I thought. So what we're going to do over the next few months is run a few programs on accessible gaming and look at all the different facets. Today we will be looking at some board games for people with visual impairment. But before we do that, let me just show you what I found when I started looking to explain why I decided to look into it more deeply. Take a look at some of this technology that is making it possible for people to play board games. Look at that, there's an Xbox alternative controlling system. So everything is becoming available to make accessible excuse me, board gaming possible for just about everyone. And let's face it, if you are behind your computer on the other side of the internet, you start off on a level playing field. Nobody knows your situation. Nobody knows what technology you're using to play the game. All they know is they're playing with you or against you, and it's as I said, a level playing field, and it's game on. So that's one of the great things, and that's why I know I need to spend more time having a look at the technology and learning more about it. So today we're just going to take a quick look at some board games for people with visual impairment. We're going to start off with a real classic, and that is Snakes and Ladders. So Snakes and Ladders is a beauty. I mean, it's a classic that families play and parents play with their kids. So if you have a visual impairment, how do you do it? Take a look at the board. Every space has got braille on it. The ladders stand out from the board. The snakes stand out from the board, so you can follow the ladders and the snakes and find out where you're going. You can know where you're up to. Have a look at the dice rolling system on the bottom right. You just roll the barrel, and then it'll stop, and you can feel the number of pips on the dice to know, what number you rolled. And there's also other dice, of course. There's normal dice. There's one. Thanks, Carl. That's really easy to play any game with, the Yahtzee or whatever. Just get those dice. You can feel with your finger, see how many pips are there, and know what you have rolled, which is absolutely fantastic. And as I said, you can play Yahtzee. There's also D&D role-playing dice and all kinds of dice available. And of course, if you don't want to use dice, you can always ask Google to roll a D6 and she'll just give you the answer anyway. Can't do that at the moment because I haven't got my Google Home plugged in. Let's take a look at Dominoes. There's another family favourite. Here's a set of Dominoes for visual impairment. You can see that the divider for the two different numbers on the tile are really, really clear. So you can feel one side of the divider, feel the number of pips and know the number, go back and feel the other side, know the number of pips, and play dominoes just the same as everyone. Everybody plays equally with the visually impaired domino set, and they are absolutely fantastic. So we're looking at some of the classic games. What is more classic and more loved and more hated but more widely played than Monopoly? Let's have a look at this Monopoly set. As you can see, each space is really well defined with it's concave. Each one is concave, and it's got the braille inside for all the spaces. You've got the braille on the money, you've got the braille on the chance and the community chest and so on. And we'll talk about another system of just using nearly any Monopoly board as well a bit later on. But that is accessible Monopoly. Fantastic. Even something as simple as playing cards. You can get playing cards with braille on them. Take a look at that. You can just deal them out, play as normal, and play just about every game. They might not be very good for Snap, but apart from that, just about every other game I think would be fantastic. That's playing cards with Braille, which is great. And then there's Bananagrams. We'll have a look at Bananagrams. Bananagrams is like a fast-paced Scrabble, and all the 133 tiles have Braille, like you can see on the D on the top left-hand corner, and it just makes it nice and easy to play. Now, they were saying if you had just a regular Bananagram set without the Braille, you could still use a particular device to play with them. And I started looking at that device, and whilst it's not really designed for gaming, it's designed for all kinds of things in the world, like reading newspapers and telling you where doors are and telling you who's in the room and all sorts of things. It is also very, very useful for gaming. You can just point at a part of the board if you've got some site, and it'll tell you what the name of that spot is on the board. You can read the rules. You can look at a tile, like in Bananagrams, it'll tell you what it is. It is a fantastic piece of technology. As I said, it's not just for gaming, but I'm going to give you a look at it anyway. It's called Orcam My Eye Pro. Let's take a look at it now.
Introducing Orcam My Eye, the most advanced wearable AI for vision impairment. The tiny device magnetically snaps onto the side of glasses and instantly reads text to you from any surface. All you have to do is point.
White chocolate cookies.
Orcam's innovative smart reading feature works instantly and discreetly.
Start smart reading. Read me the headlines.
Found 2 headlines. First result, Orcam My Eye 2 named to Times list of 1. Second result, Genesis Prize Foundation.
Read me first article.
Orcam My Eye 2, an Israeli-made system to...
Orcam My Eye can also assist with your orientation.
What's in front of me?
1 door to your left and 1 door to your right.
Identifying objects and helping with your mobility.
What's in front of me?
1 person is in front of you, 1 empty chair to your right.
Seamlessly recognize faces.
Matt Jansen.
Money notes.
$50.
Products and more, all in real time, without the need for an internet connection. Lightweight, intuitive operation in a device the size of a finger. Orcam My Eye is used by tens of thousands of people in 25 languages and 50 countries, helping them to live more independently and improving their quality of life. Orcam My Eye, personal AI technology with a life-changing impact.
Now, to me, that just looks like one incredible piece of technology. It can be used in all kinds of areas of life, but also in playing games, games that aren't specifically designed for people with visual impairment. Now, we're hoping to get a lend of an Orcam My Eye Pro and try it out. And also, we're going to buy some of these games, different games, whether they be electronic or board games or whatever, and perhaps give you a look at them and try them out for ourselves so we can really get an idea of how they work and if they work and how well they work. So that's why this is just a little quick look at gaming today, and particular board games for people with visual impairment. So coming up for the rest of the month on Accessible Globe TV, our next program is on employment, and has COVID created more opportunities for employment for people with disabilities? And now, if you think about it, there's been a lot of people working at home during the lockdowns and so on, and employers have got used to people working at home, and that could really play very well into expanding the world of people that can work with all kinds of disabilities. So that's a great program coming up. And then after that, we've got one on intimacy and the sexual rights and needs of people with disabilities. Always an interesting subject to bring up, a controversial one sometimes, but one that I think needs to be talked about. And of course, on Halloween, after we've had fun scaring all the neighbourhood kids and giving out candy, we are going to do a Halloween special, talking to people from all around the globe on coming out of COVID, on reimagining travel for people, accessible travel, all sorts of things. And we will also have a very special guest. We'll have guests from England and France and all over the place, but a very, very special guest in Kun Krishna from Thailand. He's probably Thailand's most famous person with a disability, and he's going to talk to us about the upcoming Friendly Design Expo and how Thailand's coming out of COVID and all the plans for them as well. So those are the things coming up on Accessible Globe TV. Make sure that you subscribe. That would be a wonderful thing, particularly on YouTube. Lots of people are watching on Facebook, but if you could subscribe to YouTube, hit the notification bell. That would help us an awful lot. Thanks again to our sponsors, Simple Solutions in Harvey Bay, Hello World Travel in Harvey Bay, Totally Mobile. They do all sorts of scooter and accessible equipment. IOMI, they can make your whole house work automatically, and they're fantastic. And of course, thanks to the NDIS, who make my life better and help us to create these programs as well. Thanks for having a listen on Accessible Gaming, our first program in a series on that subject. As I said, I didn't realise how complex and complicated and technical it all was. So we'll see you again on Saturday with the program on employment and whether or not COVID has created more opportunities for people with disabilities. Until then, catch you later. Thanks.